Hello lovely people, how you all doing? Okay, so today I wanted to talk about the books that I go to when I want something fun and light. It's a good, satisfying read. I always struggle with this because a lot of really light, fun comedy books I find aren't that satisfying at the end of it. But these three authors are just fantastic. They're brilliant for it. So, the first one's Carl Hiaasen, he's an American author, and pretty much all his books are based in Florida. In fact, I think all of his books are based in Florida, certainly all the ones I've read. This is actually his kind of middle grade, maybe young adult, more middle grade I'd say, books, which is really fun. And to be honest, there's not a lot of difference between these and his adult books. And the beauty of them is that the bad guys always get got. Absolutely always. They never get away with it. And generally speaking, the bad guys are doing something, they're not just criminals, but they're doing horrible things to the environment as well. And one of my favourite characters in these books is a man called Skink. And Skink used to be the governor of Florida until he got fed up with all the corruption and all the crazy developments and that sort of thing, and he retreated to the swamps where he lives there with his one glass eye, and when he sees people littering or anything, he lives on roadkill, and if he sees people littering he tends to discipline them strongly. So the books with when Skink appears are always my favourite ones, but any of Carl Hiaasen's books, they are a really good story, because there'll be a completely bonkers out there crime that occurs, and then everything that happens from there on just gets steadily crazier. I remember one of them, a guy lost his arm and replaced his hand with a chainsaw, and it was just, everything was just very, very bizarre. But if you like your books to have a nice dose of ridiculousness and a good serving of justice for the bad guys, they are just, you can't go past Carl Hiaasen. Absolutely excellent. Okay, someone else who also writes crime novels is Christopher Brookmyre. Now, these days he's writing as Chris Brookmyre, and they are serious crime novels, which are also really well written and really good if you're just looking for a good crime read. However, his previous novels, his early ones, are the ones I love, because for a start they all have amazing titles. I mean, Pandemonium, although that's the only copy of any of his books I've got at the moment for some reason, is actually quite a boring title for him. The first one of his I ever read was called It's All Fun and Games Until Somebody Loses an Eye, and it was about this woman she's a grandmother, her son gets kidnapped, a grown son, adult son, and she decides she is going to get him back. And off she goes, and in her cardigan and everything else, her cardigan and pearls, and she ends up hooking up this whole group of mercenaries, and it just gets completely crazy. They are fantastic books, really good crime romps, very funny, lots of very clever one-liners in them. So yeah, definitely recommend, if you're looking for something really satisfying but funny at the same time, the ones that he writes is Christopher Brookmyre rather than Chris Brookmyre. Okay, last one. Christopher Moore. Okay, another one with a talent for great titles. I mean, The Lust Lizard of Melancholy Cove is fantastic. I think my other favourite title of his was The Island of the Sequinned Love Nun. And his books they have a more supernatural bent. Such as Lust Lizard of Melancholy Cove, it starts with, I think it's a magician that turns up in town with a demon in tow, and the demon's only visible when he's eating people, when he takes on his massive normal form sort of thing. And they're so funny. They're so well written and so funny, and just, yeah, complete chaos ensues from pretty much page one. So if you also wrote the absolute best vampire novels I've read, just completely hilarious, so funny. So if you are looking for a really good, funny read, Christopher Moore. Absolutely brilliant. Cool. So, what sort of books do you go to when you're looking for something that's going to make you laugh out loud? Because I will warn you as well, don't read any of these authors on public transport, because I know from experience that it gets you funny looks. Yeah, sitting and giggling to yourself is never a good look. So let me know in the comments, what authors do you recommend that are good for a chuckle or even a proper laugh? Because I'd love to know. I'm always looking for more recommendations. Okay, thanks very much. Bye.